Welcome back, everybody, to the wonderful wide world of Pokemon. I am, of course, Meelz. I am here, the Platinum Chanel boy himself.
Yes.
And would you call yourself like a father of Killua or like brother of Killua?
No, yeah, I would say Killua is he's definitely my son.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's my puppy for sure.
Son Killua.
Yes, son Killua.
Yeah.
We're also here with Big Coochie
Good
Pafifi,
boy.
also known as the father of Elijah.
You know, everyone says that to me. I feel like we are roommates.
That's how it's treated. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
see.
that's fine with me. I like that notion. I know I know Cat Dad has a good ring to it, but
It does.
but I never feel. I've rarely felt that type of relationship. I mean, I feel extremely protective of him, but I think that's because he's just a cute animal. Yeah, roommates. Let's go with that.
They could make a manga series out of that, man.
They could.
No. You can make a manga series out of that, man. I feel like
I think that's part of it too. Is like, I see him as more of like a companion due to like playing Pokemon, probably.
Interesting.
I mean, he follows me everywhere. He's very vocal. I don't know.
Wow, it's crazy.
But we are not here alone.
No, we're not.
Welcome to the show. Friend of mine, I guess for maybe 10 years now, which is kind of crazy to think.
Yeah, it's been a real fool.
It's been a long time. So I want to welcome Curbside Jones to the show. Welcome to the show, man. First of all, do you own any pets? Are you?
Man, I'm like Tyler the Creator. You know how you always talk about he don't have a pet, bro. I don't have one, man. Like I never even. So I had goldfish growing up, and so what ended up happening was my parents came home one day and it was like, "Yo, where'd the fish go?" So I pull them out of my pocket and I'm like, "Here they go."
My goodness,
and then.
bro.
Ever since then, they was like, "Nah, we can't trust this man with no type of
This man pulled the goldfish out the pocket like a snack, man.
There are snacks called goldfish.
Yeah. How funny.
So since then, nah.
I've had definitely goldfish, died, whatever I had. My dad has birds. He still has birds.
That's sick.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
No,
There's birds. That's
one of
sick.
them has died on my watch.
On your watch? Great.
Yeah, real ones. Yeah,
Birds are very like they're emotional as hell. Like they'll outlive their owner, and then depending on how you treat them afterwards, they may not even make it after that.
stick around.
That's an advanced animal, and Meelz killed one.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't on purpose. It was more so like, hey, you didn't give me the keys to your apartment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is much different than I pictured it. I pictured
this
a
is
Hey
crazy.
Arnold episode where the Gila monster eats the parrot.
How could I forget that?
Or the Martin episode where they kill my mama's bird.
Oh, that's a throwback, bro. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Meelz is putting parrots in the freezer like Dwight.
Oh my god, yes.
Had a cat for 24 hours. Decided no longer wanted the cat. Gave it to my best friend
It
Flash.
only took 24 hours for you to realize that?
We just didn't. We didn't want the cat.
Wow,
it was like, yo, I'm not. We're just not pet people in this house.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I had a
love
pet for a
pets,
few
but-
months. I'm allergic though, so I couldn't keep it too long.
I'm allergic to cats, and I still put them on my face. So
They're awesome.
about
They're
that.
awesome.
I love it. So Curbside Jones, first time to the show. Let's
Yes,
do a
sir.
little bit of backstory, Pokemon backstory. What do you remember your first game?
okay.
Your first experience seeing Pokemon in general, and
This is my favorite part.
Of course.
And maybe what is your favorite Pokemon? The three most general layup questions
All right.
ever.
All right. So you said the first one is my experience with the game. You said.
Yes, first game you
Okay.
played. First, or your experience with the game, anything.
All right. So the first game I played, I want to say, was Red version. I remember I had watched the anime first. So I was watching the anime first, and I remember going to Kmart with my mom, and I think two of my friends had it. My friend Julian, he, for whatever reason, I don't know what his parents did, but homie had both of them. He had red and he had blue. And I remember he let me see the booklet to the game.
Oh, and he had the booklet. Okay.
Yeah, he had the booklet, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I was like, yo, is this that show that comes on TV? And he was like, yeah, man. they have the game on, on Game Boy. And I was like, okay. So I went, told my mom, and I was like, yo, like, you got to get this Pokemon game because Julian got both, and I'm not about to let him flex on me like that. So we go to Kmart, we get Red version, and that was like the first time I had played, I guess, any RPG at that time. Mm-hmm. Fell in love with it. I remember I ended up getting the blue version as well when I got the flu when I was in elementary school. So I got the flu, and my mom felt real bad, and she was like, well, he needs something to do. So she bought me blue version. And I had a Game Boy Pocket at that time, and I had the Fat Daddy Game Boy. So I ended up having a link cable, and I would connect the link cable to the two, and that's how I was able to get the Pokemon that evolves, like when you trade and stuff like that. So I was like trading with myself.
Yeah, you had to do it that way sometimes.
Yeah, so that was like my first experience with the game. With the show, like I said, it used to come on in the morning before I went to school. So I would watch it in the morning before I went to school, and then it would come on Kids WB on Fridays. They had that thing called Fratterday. I don't know if y'all remember that, where they show Saturday morning cartoons on Friday.
Yes, I do.
All right, so it was a rule in my house, like on Fridays, before you do anything, you need to iron all of your clothes for the following week. So I would take out the ironing board and I would iron all of my clothes while watching like Kids WB, Fratterday. So I would watch like, the Pokemon and like all that kind of stuff. And then I was fortunate enough to be in that group of people that got to experience the movie as well. Wrapped around the building. I still have my ancient name card. My mom took me to go see that. Shout out to her for sitting through that. And my favorite Pokemon, that's a hard one because it changes, all the time. But I guess if we're going with like all time, like never changes, I would say Alakazam. Now, if we're going with like nowadays, I kind of lean more towards like Dragapult and Mimikyu. Just for the aesthetics, I think they're pretty dope.
Yeah, Mimikyu Hive, assemble.
Oh man, we go hard. We go hard for Mimikyu now.
Oh my god! First of all, haven't heard Game Boy Pocket mentioned in a while, and I forgot it was a thing.
Yeah, I still have it.
It was.
Oh my god. Second thing, what was the second thing that I remember? That I wanted to mention?
Shout out to Kmart. Used to be a very viable.
I was just about to say, rest in peace, man.
Yeah. No, they had the layaway system, bro.
They sure did.
I'm telling you,
bro. I got yellow version at a Dillard's.
What?
Yeah, it was
instead of a toaster.
Everywhere. It was on everywhere, man. You couldn't get it, and Dillard's had an electronics counter at Westgate Mall, and fucking
that's level, bro.
Bitch.
Isn't it crazy how we just got the boxes and just ripped it open, and those boxes are worth like $400 now?
Yeah,
maybe more.
I had boxes when by the time Game Boy Advance came out, I was saving boxes, but yeah, I mean, fuck the box. The timer doesn't even work in the silver cartridge anymore. I have two copies of. I have no idea where my Soul Silver is, but I have two copies of OG Silver, and they just don't work. It sucks.
Yeah, mine don't work at all. One of mine turns on, but you can't save. As soon as you turn it back off, it just says new game again.
They're gonna come up with some technology where it's like, oh, send your shit in and we'll fix the clock.
No, they're gonna say go buy a 3DS and buy it from our store.
They need that money. They need that money, bro.
Oh my god. So Curbside Jones are known for a long time. Back when I had a music blog. This predates me. This predates me knowing anybody else in this room. Yeah.
The blog era.
The blog. Shut up.
I'm dying. Oh my god.
When I had a music blog, it was called This Goes In.
Yep.
And
that's actually that's a good. That sounds like a real blog from when blogs were popular.
It was a I would say moderately successful blog. I reach 1 million visitors, 1 million views, all this other type of stuff like that. So I was very happy, and I was the only one doing the work. So I had this.
Are you ready? This goes in. That's your drop.
Thank you, Pat. And I had this thing called This Goes Indie. So I would get all these.
Wow, what marketing,
right.
You
bro?
see how spicy it's getting right now?
This is so good.
Well, I now understand everything. Everything makes sense the way you are.
So, so this goes indie, and I would highlight a lot of independent acts who I still converse with today, still talk to today on a daily basis. Because my thing was, you would get a lot of stuff in your mail, but I wouldn't care for most of them because a lot of them, 2011, would end up being like some frat rappers or like some, everybody who's just sending just various, whatever. But he stuck out one because I knew another person named Ron. Shout out to him. You ran a blog called Iron Boy Genius as well. Shout out to Ron. Talked to him earlier this year. He's doing fantastic. And then also he was the only one who submitted it, and it was like the most professional looking shit. And this man, for the last 10 years, even to the release that he has now, The Last Train, which you can listen to on Bandcamp, which you can purchase, you can do all this other stuff like that, like supreme quality. Everything that I have purchased from this man to support his music has come with quality, whether it's been vinyls, whether it's been CDs, whether it's been posters, t-shirts, and I always get, and the favorite part about this is I always get a Pokemon trading card with it.
So you already knew where it was coming from.
Oh yeah, of course. So I always get, I think the last one I got was like Rufflet, and there was a couple more that I forget that's like in my drawer somewhere. But I still have everything saved up. But
I used to, like, every time there was a release, I would purposely, like, if it wasn't from the OG set that I have, like the OG base set, because there's some of those that I just can't like part with, but like I would go and I would find whatever the latest set is and I would buy those. Like I would buy packs just so I can send like cards to y'all, like whenever y'all buy something.
That's incredible.
That's amazing, bro. I mean, so for the last 10 years, been enjoying this man's music. Make sure you enjoy him as well. You can listen to him. Follow him at Curbside Jones on Twitter. But what I wanted to sort of segue this into talking about Pokemon trading cards. There's been this is the only news thing that we got. And I like to circle it back because when last month when John, shout out to John when he came on.
Yeah.
Highly educational episode.
I got a message from Jerry like, yo, I know about trading. Like, he is trading card. You know how to play the game. I still don't know. Jeff explained it to me last month. I still don't know how to play this game. Like, it's, but he was like, yo, I wanted to be on this. Well, listen, we still have trading card information. Yeah, we still have trading card news. We still have trading card, everything like that. Unfortunately, it's bad news because
it's bad news. I already know what you're gonna say. I already know what you're gonna say.
The bad news is Walmart has begun.
Crazy. This is crazy. Target since the last episode.
Begun pulling Pokemon trading cards for the safety of others due to
it's next to the sign that says you have to wear a mask. There's an identical sign that says we don't sell Pokemon cards anymore.
I saw it today.
That's fucked up. I mean, honestly like it does make me sad and angry. It's also like it's so fucked up. You just kind of have to laugh about it.
I gotta be real. I wasn't really getting cards from Walmart or Target for a while. Anyways, like I started to just like creep through to actual like little card shops, period, just to even get them. But yeah, it sucks for. I mentioned it. I have a little brother. Like I would like to just walk him in there just for the experience. But yeah, that shit is dead, man. I mean, I don't know. They put it behind the wall of like cigarettes and cigars anyway. So
yeah, I mean, it's like the thing where like the retail for. Like, the stores still sell Jordans. The retail is the same price at the store. But, like, you can't get it at the store. So, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I will say that I did contribute to part of the problem. But it wasn't on some, like, I'm trying to buy it to flip it. It was more so just, like, that oppositional defiance. Because I went up there one day and they were like, hey, only one pack per customer. And I'm like, for why? And I'm like, I don't know, because this was before I even knew that there was a shortage and that, people were tripping like that. So I'm just like, well, what? And I'm like, well, what happens if I get 2? And my wife was like, you should just get them and take them up there. What they gonna say? And I said, yeah, you're right. What they gonna say to me? So I grabbed 7 and I walk up to the counter. I put them down and I'm like, yeah. And I look at the cashier and she just rings me up. And I was like, oh. So I thought maybe, I didn't know. I was like, well, she didn't say anything. So I guess it wasn't a big deal. And then come to find out that cats have been out here wilding like crazy over these packs.
That was a brilliant strategy, though.
Yeah, dude,
it's like,
I mean, what could
it's like
happen?
when South Park has Comedy Central, like the episode where they said shit like 187 times or whatever. When they asked us, they were like, can we say shit once without you censoring it? Comedy Central's like, no. Like, all right, can we say it? What if we said it twice? Like, no. Like, okay, well, what if we said it 100 times? And they're like, oh yeah, actually, that's totally fine. That works. That's cool with us. You did that, but with the booster packs.
And I actually have a friend who just got into the collecting recently. And his son is getting into it. And his son is, I want to say, like 3 years old. And it sucks because like the same thing, like you were saying, Jeff, about like, the younger kids can't even get cards like from, like you just can't go to Target and be like, hey, we want to make a Target run. And before we leave, I'll just give you a pack of cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can't even do that no more. So like I ended up taking, because I was buying, like I was going like crazy. I was buying booster boxes. I was buying Elite Trainer boxes, like for like every set that was releasing like in Sunday. Yeah. I think I bought one for every set.
Easier way to do it, to be honest, nowadays.
And I ended up giving my homie like just boxes of cards because I was like, look, I bought these to build decks with and do all this other kind of stuff. Now I just, like, if I was to build the deck, I'm just going to buy individual cards anyway. And most of the time I'm playing online. So like I'm more about the code cards than I am about, the physical cards. So I just gave him like boxes of cards. I was like, here, you can just like give these to your son. Like he can trash them. I really don't care. And it was really cool, like being able to like pass those down, especially knowing like now how crazy it is to get them.
Yeah, it's insane. Like,
I do gotta say, in like saying like you like what are, not your exact word, saying like you're like participate in the situation or part of the problem or whatever. Like if you're a normal person and you're like buying cards at whatever the increased price is because the market was fucked up, that is like, I don't think you're to blame for that.
Yeah,
like,
man,
you're still a victim of that. Like you aren't participating in an ideal situation, no, but it's like the only choice you have to participate in the thing you like. The problem is not people paying increased prices, it's the people causing the prices to increase, which is people at the top who don't care about it at all.
Yeah,
it's not even lucrative. That's the thing. Like I was telling my homie about it because he's a sneaker, he collects sneakers and stuff, and I was telling him like, bro, like this isn't even a lucrative thing to get into at this point, because if it's not like the misprints or the black squares or triangles, whatever,
extremely rare. I mean, you really got to hit.
And the shadowless cards. So like, if it's not that, it's kind of like you're. What are you doing? You're buying the most recent set, and you're trying to flip stuff in the recent set, and it's like that's fine. But like these cards have already been available online that you could buy, so the prices aren't going to really change. And then on top of that, like you're saturating the market now, so the cards really don't have that much value because they're everywhere. Because everybody's buying them. Everybody's trying to flip them. Everybody's looking for the shiny Charizard VMAX and shiny Charizards and stuff.
Wealthy 35-year-olds buying 1999 base sets.
It's
for
like when you're
$50,000.
At this point, like trying to get into it, it's like when your neighbor tells you like tomorrow, like he just bought into like Bitcoin or something, and it's like it's over. What do you,
it's too late.
What do you mean you just bought it? You had that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
oh shit.
No, I mean he's got a point. Absolutely, they're looking into it like it's Jordans. I mean, it's not easy to even get some of this stuff.
And the thing with Jordans, like at this point, is like, okay, whether you're selling it. If you're selling it on Instagram, that's a goddamn pain in the ass, and you're opening yourself up to get scammed by a 14-year-old.
Yep.
And if you're doing it on StockX or Grailed, unless you're getting a pair of, a good pair of Off-Whites, not a pair that resells for $400, because if they resell for $400, then let's say you pay $200 for them after shipping generously, maybe $220 after tax and shipping. So you're down $220. So then what? You sell them for $450, so you've made $230. You got to pay X amount to get them to StockX, or for your StockX membership if it gets you free shipping. Then they take a cut of what you make. So by the end of the day, you've made like $60 to do like like 9 hours of work. Like what? I don't. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's the same. It's all the same thing. Like whether it's at this point like Jordans or cards, it's mostly just people who don't care about it, devaluing it. Which at the end of the day is how the entire world works. But
welcome to Pokemon. We're here.
Yep. We're here. Listen, welcome to America. We're here.
Yeah. We're here to devalue everything you love.
Absolutely. We just pandemoniums, fads, all types of shit. We can't get enough of anything.
That being said, everyone said when Pokemon first got popular how quickly it was going to go away, and some people who told me that are dead, and I'm 32. So, so
25
you were
years
wrong.
later,
You were wrong.
Yeah,
On
they were
Pikachu.
wrong.
We got Katy Perry singing with Pikachu right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Honestly, Katy Perry needed Pikachu more than Pikachu needed Katy Perry.
That's true.
You know, that's another conversation. Really,
that's another conversation for another day. You know what? Fair. It's still Pokemon 25. Okay, so boom, we're obviously here this episode to talk about the new Pokemon Snap. That's the name. It's called New Pokemon Snap. I am not kidding.
Still support the name.
The name is perfect.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
but before we get into that, because this, I would like to say, a part of the popularity of games like Pokemon Snap, maybe Pokemon Tournament, Pokemon Pinball, all types of other stuff, is obviously because we're waiting for the next game,
and some people I think do just love the cute critters.
Easily.
I don't. I mean, I love them, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We'll get to it. I think they do have some longevity among people who only care about the aesthetic of Pokemon.
Well, absolutely.
For sure,
I want to talk about it. I want to ask you guys: has there been any Pokemon spin-off games that you bought? Pokemon New Snap, sans that for right now. Any Pokemon spin-off games you bought because you were like essentially like, hey, I'm waiting for the next main game. Where the hell is Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire? Where's my Pokemon Gray? Or wherever the hell you were looking forward to that you couldn't wait for. And you just said, actually, I want to play this spinoff game. Why not?
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened plenty of times, man. Honestly, as soon as Nintendo / Game Freak realized that Pokemon itself was its own franchise and not just something Nintendo had, Super Smash Brothers, for example. I mean, Pikachu, Jigglypuff, big deal for Pokemon originally. I mean, they are original characters to that game, and we all know how huge Super Smash Brothers is. Pokekin has a huge community, by the way. Like, it's in tournaments.
Tournament scene.
It's real. It's legit.
Okay.
Like, it's competitive. It's huge. Now, although I'm not sure why, I understand they've kind of transitioned this whole Pokemon card game thing to like the online playing, which is really fun. I have that on my MacBook and all that, which, by the way, they need to push that thing to iPhone and all, but that's a whole nother story.
It's on iPhone.
Is it now?
I got it on my Droid.
Okay,
I play it all the time.
Now, I feel like Pokemon card game needs to come back to console in some format, but I don't know if they're going to even take it that route. That's a whole nother, again, that's something else. Hey, you Pikachu. Hey, if you were into that era, it was super cute. If you did it, you did Pikachu. It. I don't think it ever happened again.
That name in years.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever happened again, but it was cute. You know, I mean, it depends, but that's really, I wasn't like tapped in to the fire rescue like that. Like those weren't really my thing personally. They're cool games. Yeah, they're cool games. Like I've had one or two, but I've never like, oh my god, like put hours into it or anything like that. I'm more into obviously the Greninja, the Pokemon trainer on Super Smash Brothers. This new Pokemon Snap, which I'll get into soon because it's very good. And even just outside merchandise stuff nowadays is still extremely popping for Pokemon too. I think they've kind of redesigned themselves to a world brand, a world franchise, not just video games. And Pat, you kind of said it, man. Like, not all Pokemon fans care about the core games. odd as it is,
is like I mean, has to be one of the most recognized logos, characters, whatever in the world.
Gotta be. I mean, who doesn't know it? Yeah, who doesn't know it? Like, I mean, our grandparents at this point, they can probably pick Pikachu out in a lineup pretty easily. So,
bro, my parents fucking know Mewtwo, and they don't know anybody. It's crazy. Like,
it's crazy. My favorite. I mean, the new Pokemon. I'm not just saying that because we're here to talk about it, but new Pokemon Snap is, it's really good.
Okay, Jeff, really you've left out. I can't believe you didn't talk about this.
What's that?
OG Pinball.
Pinball? Yes, oh yeah, Pinball.
Pokemon Pinball, the original. I'm waiting for the next game.
Shocking experience
with the black cartridge Pinball.
Mm-hmm. Black cartridge and Rumble Pack. Come on, I think it was the second game they put out with the Rumble Pack.
With Gen 2.
Yeah, the first one was the Pod Racer game.
I think it was still Gen 1.
Total Dial and shit was in that.
It was that pinball game was I think that was the only spin-off. I played Stadium a little bit because I got a 64 really late.
Stadium's hardcore.
It was, but I got 64 really late in its life, so like I only played like Majora's Mask and Stadium, and then GameCube came out. But pinball was so good, and it was not an easy game, man.
Yeah, well, did you guys enjoy Pokemon XD? Or like, did you any of you guys play?
That was the sequel to Stadium?
With Shadow Lugia? Nah, it was more like
I didn't play it.
Man, that shit was good, man. It had Shadow Lugia on there. Some people are still asking for Shadow Lugia.
I just read an article about Shadow Lugia the other day for some reason because like it's he never repeated.
Yeah, he refused to like, but they asked him about it in an interview, and he never refused to say it wasn't canon because people were trying to figure out like, hey, is this ever something you're gonna like put in the forefront? Like, Pokekin has the Shadow Mewtwo shit, but that Shadow Mewtwo is not, obviously not part of like the core games.
My man was probably like, I don't even know what's going on with the games anymore.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? It looks cool.
Is Shadow Mewtwo the same or different as Metal Mewtwo?
It's different.
We need Metal Mewtwo, baby.
It's different.
Well, Curb, has there been any spin-off games that you've enjoyed or even dabbled in a little bit?
So the first one that I ever encountered was Pokemon Pinball.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I was like really deep into that as a kid. Like, and I'm not one to like really enjoy pinball like that, but I think just because of Pokemon, like it really drew me in something crazy.
Pinball was like, sorry to cut you off. Pinball, if you had like the old Windows 98, like it was Minesweeper or that very graphic ass pinball game, and that's when I was like, okay, I could play a Pokemon version of this.
I'll keep it real. I played chess against the old Windows computer.
I still don't. I learned how to play chess for like 3 days and then I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know how to play chess right now. And I watched that whole Netflix series.
Yo, I've been meaning to watch that actually.
It's good. It's great. It's great.
Wait, what did Jeff? I think I told you this. That it's one of my friends described it as like a shonen comic for white women.
Yeah, actually, that's
she like has to fight somebody with like a different gimmick every time, and like always kind of figures out like an anime way to beat them. Like she has.
We're talking about the
like,
Queen's Gambit here.
Yeah. Sorry, we haven't actually said the name of the show. But she's like playing chess against like some really young like German chess whiz, and then she figures out like if she just like paces back and forth, it'll throw him off and she'll beat him or some shit like that.
She has to get high before she even like she has to get super high off pills before she even like gets it popping. It's just watch it. My bad, Jones. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
Awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the next thing I played was Stadium, but I didn't own the OG Stadium. I ended up playing it at like like how retail stores had like the gaming setup and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I ended up playing it a lot at like retail stores, and then eventually I ended up getting Stadium 2, and I had like the Game Boy expansion pack with it too. So like I would import my Pokemon over on there and everything like that. The original Pokemon Snap, I played that, of course, at retail stores too, because I didn't own that. Smash, let's see. I actually have a list pulled up of ones, the games, the spinoffs, to see which ones Detective Pikachu. I actually played a little bit of that.
Did you try it?
I didn't own it. At my old job, one of the kids had it, so like I sat with him and like played a little bit of it. Interesting. Not really my thing, but it was interesting. Pokken. I've actually played Pokken. The first time I've ever played Pokken was when I went to Japan. There was a like every time, for whatever reason, when me and my wife go to Japan, they have the Pokemon Roadshow going on at the Pokemon centers. Because a new
you were living a dream that I can only
every time just the first half of the sentence, every time my wife and I go to Japan, I'm like going into a coma listening to you.
I'm like, that. Wife? Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even hear anything else, bro. I'm just like, oh, you traveled. That's nice.
So they would have the Pokemon road shows. So they would have like inside the Pokemon centers, they would have like the Pokken setups. And then at one of the malls we went to in Ikebukuro, they had a Pokken tournament, and it was like for little kids to enter, and they had it on this like jumbotron, and they had like these people dressed up as like Pikachu and like other Pokemon and stuff while these kids played. And I just sat there and watched them play, and I was like, you know what, seeing it in person instead of seeing it like on Twitch or like in tournaments, because being in the fighting game community, you see like all the fighting games and stuff like that, and some you may play, some you don't. But I actually got my first like test run of it like at the Pokemon Center, and then we went to one of the Taito stations, and we went to the arcade, and they had a Pokken setup at the arcade, and it had like Wi-Fi on there. So I hopped on there, to play around a little bit. I got bodied because I've never played it, but I actually thought it was pretty cool. Originally I thought Pokken would play more like Tekken, because you have your like 2D, well, not even 2D plane, but you have your plane that you fight on, and then you exit that plane, and then you can roam around freely.
It's like levels,
which is kind of weird. But I think if they make another one, hopefully they do make another one day, and they make it more of a like fighting game as opposed to like I can run around and throw out attacks and then we come together, and then I have high hopes for a Pokken 2. I would definitely buy into that now.
You see how long they've taken? I feel like they're definitely in the mix. Like they're in the lab for sure working on that.
But yeah, those are all the spin-offs I believe that I've played in that.
I feel like there's so many more too.
Well, the crazy thing about the spin-off games is like the most popular one just came out a few years ago, and it's Pokemon Go. And I haven't really even like said it, like
love that game.
The one that I really wanted to play that I've never played and I thought was one of the greatest ideas that they had was Pokemon Conquest, which was like the Fire Emblem-esque or Final Fantasy Tactics-esque one.
We weren't ready, man. We weren't ready.
And I like looking back on that, I'm like, dude, that's such a dope idea where you have like these trainers, and then they have like these legendary Pokemon, or they have like these mythical type Pokemon that they like have as their Pokemon. Then they run around and like gain other Pokemon and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, like that's such a great idea.
Themed trainers. The designs were very anime, like real anime.
To come back. I need that to come back for the Switch, and I'd buy it day one, easy.
Shout out Conquest, yeah.
Shout out to that. First of all, I think every one of us is looking at this list just for stuff.
I worked at GameStop. People return Conquest a lot. I got a lot of trade-ins on Conquest. Yeah, I don't know why, man. That's why when you said that, it kind of threw me off, because I was like, yeah, I actually thought Conquest was a great idea because, I was into that type of shit, and it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't stick.
You know what? I'm looking through this list, and I'm looking at all the games I've never seen before. Well, not even seen before. I guess I've seen them like on Cerebi or something along those lines. Like they'll be mentioned in like a little like, oh shit, they uploaded Raichu on this game. Yeah.
You know what? Hang on, we gotta mention this fucking little I don't even know how to say. It was like the Pikachu Tamagotchi that you walked around with.
I had that.
I had that guy, yeah.
It came with your Heart Gold and Soul Silver, right?
Yeah.
No, this was something else.
Well,
this was
it's a different one that he's talking about. This was around the
the
Digimon era.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
With the Digivice eras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
wait,
my
there's
god.
also a Pokemon spinoff I played on the Switch. It's that cafe one.
Yeah, Cafe. That one's that's last
Ooh.
year,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
that game. Yeah, I like that, man. That game's pretty cool.
I feel
Oh
like
my
Mystery
god. Okay.
Dungeon is popular. Is that
It
true?
is. It has a wave. It has a wave.
Absolutely.
Something happened to Mills. Somebody walked in on Millsy.
No, so nothing happened. I was waiting for the door to close. Sorry.
Oh.
Let me hold on. Let me make sure get this timestamp down. Okay. All right. So boom.
I just started buying Pokemon like Funkos. You know, I had a bunch of Funkos, but no Pokemon ones. I was like, what am I doing? And then I saw Mew, and I got Mewtwo, and then I've been going
Those are
hard ever
so
since.
sick.
Easily.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun.
So we're here obviously to talk about Pokemon Snap. Now, Pokemon Snap 1999. I remember only the commercials, but again, like I don't know if it's the same as Pat. I got an N64 from my god brother who no longer wanted his N64 because he probably had some way better console at the time.
The
Probably got a
PlayStation.
GameCube or PlayStation.
Yeah.
He had that too. He had the PlayStation, and he was the only like I remember him specifically. Not remember him. He's my god brother, but like he had PS, PlayStation. He had N64. He had the little expansion shit. So like when you play like old SmackDown games, you could play with like 4 people or like 5 people or something along those lines. Like I remember all of that stuff. I got N64 way late, way after Pokemon Snap and they even come to fruition. It was probably long gone. It was probably Pokemon Stadium 2 by then. But I remember this game and I'm wondering now, because they also introduced, remember they introduced that character in the show? What was his name? Not Tracy. What was his fucking name?
You talking about the Snap guy?
I know who
Yeah.
you're talking about.
His
Snap.
name's Todd. Todd Snap, man.
He
Todd
had the
Snap.
sauce, bro. He had the
Todd
sauce,
Snap,
for
man.
sure.
Have some respect.
Todd Snap. He introduced him to the
seriously.
show. I'm like, wow, look at the marketing in this damn show. How did they see it coming?
He's a
Todd
little
Snap.
swaggy.
And I think he was the main character in the original game, right?
He was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. So they introduced Todd Snap to the show. They're like, oh, you love taking pictures of Pokemon. I'm like, all right, this is cool for the show. And then they introduced the game. I was like, wait, a game just taking pictures of Pokemon and N60 in this year 2000 world where everything's extreme, everything's like chrome, everything is like 2000. That a game of just taking pictures of Pokemon could be. But honestly, at that point, 1999, we're in the throw of things. We're between Pokemon Red and Blue and I'm about to say Soul Silver, Pokemon Gold and Silver.
It didn't matter what they threw at us at that point.
Yeah,
It was a
Games,
dub.
lollipops.
Yeah, we were grabbing it.
contraceptives, anything, man. But everything.
Ditto condoms.
I like the Grimer condom.
Oh, come on, bro.
But they introduced Pokemon Snap to the thing. All right, so how many of us here have actually played the original Pokemon?
have.
Yeah,
I have
still
watched
have
it be
Still have
played
it.
by my cousins.
Yeah, it's
I
in my
was-
closet.
I wasn't the greatest at the time, but when I did get my hands on it, actually I had a friend who had it too. I played it at stores and there was a friend who lived down the street. His name was Michael and he had it and I would play it sometimes at his place.
I feel like the game was subjective, just based on what I've seen. So I spent the last probably month or so looking at people, because in the preparation for new Pokemon Snap, there have been, YouTubers who have been playing the original Pokemon Snap, which somehow, some way, managing to stream it. So I was watching that. It's not a long game, so thankfully for that. But I always felt like they would always show the thing of like taking pictures, and there's obviously a star rating for the pictures. I'm like, this is so subjective. That's an amazing fucking photo, and it got like 2 stars because he wasn't in the middle. Like the game. To me, I probably would have gotten frustrated at that point because it just felt so it didn't feel so linear in terms of like I beat them, I gained levels, I did all this other stuff like that. It was like, no,
You were composing photos and they were telling you to color inside the lines.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and there there would be things that set off traps instead of. This is from all that I watched 3 weeks ago. I did not know the game was so. I thought it was literally like we're going around, we're taking pictures, we're on. I didn't even know they were on a rail. I thought you were just walking around taking pictures.
Yeah, you're on a rail, or you're on a course that can't be changed. I guess you should say.
Yeah, and you would have to start it over again to set off some traps, set off some rat traps. So these Pokemon touch this Pokemon and they run over to this thing, and then that one pops out of this place, and it's like Moltres out of nowhere, and I was like, damn, this is way more. This is way more than I thought it was. Curb, what do you remember your first kind of like? What do you remember about the game in terms of just like how did you feel when actually playing it? Did you feel like, this is but
I thought as a kid, like when I played it, because I'm around the same age as y'all, so I was like, what, 9, 10 years old. So
we're literally the same year.
Yeah,
I think we're like 2 days off.
Exactly. Yeah. So like playing it, it was like it was different. You know what I mean? Because at the time there weren't like games like that. You know what I mean? Like there weren't games that were like a photography game. And I think coupled with the show, I think that kind of hyped it up a little bit in my head, of like what it was. So when I played it for the first time, I really didn't understand what the point of the game was. Because like I said, I never owned it. So I just kind of came in the middle of the game and just started playing it. So I was like, yo, what's the point of this? So it didn't really grab me, but like when I would watch like my friend play, like it was a game where I was rooting for my friend as he played, and I kind of didn't really want to have anything to do with it. It was just like, yo, dude, that's cool. Take a picture of that. Take a picture of that. Take a picture of that. So for me, it was a good spectator game. Now that I'm older, and I look back on it, and like you said, how everything is subjective. I think the frustration that you said that you would have, like if I played it now as an adult, I would probably have that same frustration too. Like actually being a photographer now and being like, yo, the composition of this picture, I'm using the rule of thirds and blah, 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 blah. And then I get like a 2-star, then yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off too. Which is kind of why I definitely want to dabble in the new one. Just so I can look at it from a different lens. It's not just like a kid wanting to root their friend on, but like as an adult who actually knows how to use a camera and know about photography.
Just to be like, they don't know shit about shit in this game.
Yeah, let me make the next one,
Oh my God. Pat, do you have any memories of the original one, whether you had it or not?
I did not have it, but I watched my cousins do the Mew part, which was awesome. But otherwise, it was like
the game.
It was crazy. Like I thought it was cool, but it was weird that it was always just weird to me that it was a whole game. Like it's just like this is the whole like how. But
where's Team Rocket? Where's the conflict?
Yeah, what am I? Yeah, exactly. But I always like had a fondness for just the concept of it, just because it's like so quaint almost. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you just go around and you take pictures of Pokemon, and it's a weird idea, but it's honestly like it's just the most video gamey idea. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm getting at, but it's bizarre, but I really like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, so you have played both games.
Yeah, I have both games right now.
Yay old Pokemon Snap, and you have played new Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Which one? I mean, I don't even ask you which one you prefer because I know it's the fucking new one.
But the new one translates much clearer. It's much more fun, much more precise, a lot more things to do. Yeah.
So you would say they absolutely took everything from this original
game.
I mean, they just...
it's definitely straight off the original. Even some of the characters, for that matter, they kept the same format, but it just looks beautiful. I mean, it's on the Switch. Things are super cute. I know I was kind of texting y'all pictures, which is mainly why I wanted it so I could just relax and play it and have fun with it and not worry about anything like competitive. But it is kind of competitive because One of the main things I really like about the game, which I'll get into, is the like social, quote unquote, social media aspect of it. Like everyone has like profiles online. You can post your best pictures, and people will go on your page and rate them. And
I love that.
there's like a ranking system,
Love
actually.
that.
Like yeah, like it's really dope. And there's some like you can go see that they'll put on the side of cute pictures today, and it'll just be like all these different designs, and you can edit the pictures, put filters on them, add grain, take grain off, refocus and unfocus, and put cute hats and shit like that. There's some really good pictures out there. Some inappropriate, some are really funny.
Inappropriate. Hold on, time out.
Yeah, man.
I don't like this.
Whoa.
Not. It's just they caught some at the moment that look hilarious.
Okay.
Nothing like sexual.
I was like, this is like real life
here. Tripping.
No.
Listen, when you showed us, obviously, well, I don't even think you had to show us, but it's just on social media itself. The Pidgeot grabbing the Magikarp from its habitat, pulling it into the air.
Okay, this is some. They made sure that everything that they sprinkled in the Pokédex throughout the years was shown. So basically, you're getting how wild Pokemon interact on a day-to-day basis. So when you go see them at night, you're going to see how they act at night. Whether it's a nocturnal Pokemon or a Pokemon that is just straight asleep, you'll see that. You can wake them up. You'll see how they react. A Pokemon that you would think would be an asshole, guess what? It's an asshole. Straight up. Like, little
Talk
things
about
like
it.
that.
Which ones? Point them out.
So, okay. For example, like if you go to some of the levels at night, they will be sleeping. You can wake some of them up by throwing an apple at them or like just, pissing them off, stuff like that. If you throw an apple, and I'm sure everyone would probably assume this, but if you throw an apple at a fucking pincer while it's sleeping, it will act out on you. And it's good to get an action shot of it kind of being pissed off too. Like you get points for all that type of stuff. The system still it kind of is basically the same. You got a 3-star system. You can get it all the way to like a diamond, which is like your best shots. You kind of collect 4 pictures of the Pokemon depending on the level. So 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 3-star. But I loved it, man. Like some things you can only see at night. You can get 2 Pokemon interact with each other basically in any kind of way as long as they're kind of within the same frame and you can interact. If you throw an apple in between 2 different Pokemon, one will be pissed off that they didn't get the apple, and you'll be able to get a nice shot of that. It's a cute game. It's a really cute game, but it's fun, and I think it's in depth. I think they really they must have been working on this for quite some time, to be honest with you.
Listen, this Bandai Namco who helped develop the Pokemon tournament game. I feel like them and just Pokemon Company in general have had this like attitude of the last years of like, let's take Pokemon out of the actual, like the whole battling aspect. Like let's make sure that the actual concept of this is bigger than this and it's translated to the people. Because with this game, like the majority of games over the last year or so haven't even been battle games. They've been with Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon Home, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Go, all these things where you're out traveling. They want to make it so,
it's a lifestyle game.
Yeah, something along those lines. And this one is just kind of the next, level of that, because you really get to see Pokemon in their habitat do amazing things and just like have these reactions that you don't see anyone else. You zoomed in, you showed us pictures of where you zoomed in on them, and like people like his Arbok has scales.
Yeah.
Things
They
have,
did
like,
some good work, man. They did some good work.
Holy fucking like,
Top Snap is back, man. He's back.
Listen, I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, yo, am I just grabbing on low-hanging fruit? I'm sure they've been doing this in other games for years, and we was like, yo, it's Pokemon though. Like, yo, this is crazy. Something else that shocked me about this game that we've been talking about.
What's that? Are we talking about? Are we talking about dialogue here?
We talking about the dialogue.
We talking about dialogue. Okay.
Voice actors.
I'm a pure believer of like Pokemon not doing, like, they do stuff on purpose. So, like, even if they tried it a little bit, because although there is dialogue in this game, officially, like, it's true, guys. Like, there's voice acting. believe it or not. It is minimal. I will say that. You'll get a few full sentences and whatnot. I don't know if it was their way of like, okay, we hear you guys. Give us a second. We're going to figure this out. Or it's the other way, which is, this is what you wanted. Here it is. Now leave us alone. And you won't see it again. I feel like it's going to go one or the other way. I'm not really sure.
Enjoy the slop, hogs.
Yeah. I don't know if
you
it's
want to hear
like,
voices by Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not sure how they're going to go about it. I hope it's something that they play with in the future because it's pretty good. Like, I know we're still trying to see. I wanted to get somebody who does the voice on the game, but I know Meelz, we kind of discussed it and we work out, but that's okay.
I'm still trying to get her. I emailed her
today.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. It's definitely worth it. But they did a good job. Todd Snap is back. This time you kind of create your own character. You don't play as him, but he is in the game.
Can you make
Professor,
the person black?
You can make the person of color. Absolutely.
Okay.
But
he didn't say black. He said
you have to have Jim Halpert hair though. You can't like have a fade or anything.
Okay.
They haven't got there yet. For
not
whatever
quite there
reason.
yet. You got to play Pokemon X and Y if you want to go back to that or something. But I will say, Professor Mirror is pretty cool. Rita is the other character that kind of helps you out. There's also this dick of a character in there. He kind of antagonizes you a little bit. Like he's like, you can't take better pictures. No, I can't. Like they have, it's not necessarily a rival because you don't necessarily compete.
They don't do that no more.
Yeah, they don't really do that no more. But
aggro of behavior, not anymore in this game.
I will say they did a great job with the environment. One of my favorite levels I'll talk to you guys about is the water level because I don't want to go too much into like every level because you really have to experience it. But the water level is fantastic. If you want to see some Marini chase Cursolas around, which is in the Pokédex, they do eat these motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's just a brilliant there's this one part where you're going through the water level and they're just literally like 6 of them are just chasing this Cursola, which is kind of sad. But it's
That's
really
life,
fun.
Baby. That's life. That's Pokemon.
In between the levels, if you do a specific thing and scan a specific area, you'll unlock a different route. You can, and then you'll be able to go under the water and see different things. If you want to see like a lowland Raichu actually surfing, it's really cute. There's a moment where if you catch them at the right time, you'll see Pikachu basically trying to act like a lowland Raichu. It's really cute. Like you can really interact well. Like things happen that I had no idea was going to happen. Like I went to the jungle level at night, saw Sylveon asleep, next to eat. Like it's just really like cool stuff like that. You get to really see them in their environment, and also, you do see them kind of like act like they're like prey. Like they're trying to eat.
How big is the Pokédex in the game? Like, does it tell you like, oh, if you take, like when you take pictures, it'll add it to like a thing? Like, does it show like how many Pokemon are in the Pokédex, or is it just just go out there and take pictures?
No, there is a dex. There's a dex. There's actually legendary Pokemon in this one too, which is pretty cool. I know the original was like just Mew and maybe like some of the legendary birds.
Yeah. It says 214.
There's 214. There's 214 in total, which is pretty good.
And they like vary of all.
They do
different generations.
They reach through
like
all the gens, man. They really, really do. The Illuminous feature is like the main purpose. Once you kind of get through a course, you'll get that, and you do the daytime version and nighttime version, you'll get opportunity to basically take picture of the Illuminous Pokemon in that realm. Just to name like a few is, Magnium or Melodic. They're two of the really cool ones. And you have to do something. You can't just like take pictures of them and be like, okay, I did it. Like, they added some real stuff to it where you're actually playing this game. You're not just necessarily taking pictures. Now, Meelz, the whole Pokemon being in the front of the frame thing, they still give you solid points if the Pokemon is on the side of the frame, and then you got like just a beautiful background because they'll rate you based off the background as well. But it's more about getting the entire Pokemon in the frame. So using that zoom that they have, when I showed you guys like the Arbok scales, it's because I zoomed in all the way just so you guys could see like the texture wise, although it's still like Nintendo texture, but it's good. Like it looks cool, you know. Seeing a big ass Arbok in a tree sleeping for whatever reason.
That's frightening, by the way.
Cool. Yeah, it's frightening. Also, the parent child thing is super cute throughout the game. Quagsire, and you know, like there's just like really cool stuff. You can piss off Magikarps pretty well. There's just like little tidbits of the game that I think everyone should lock into. Like if you're a Pokemon fan, I actually do think you'll really enjoy this. You get little upgrades, which don't necessarily. I mean, it's fulfilling. Like if you're taking the right pictures and you're doing the things that they want you to do, you know, you're rewarded. You know, like it's nice. And again, my favorite part about it, I would have to say, is like the social aspect of it, where you can go to other. If Pat had the game, I could go on his profile, see what kind of pictures he's been taking, share. I can like them, and his ranking will go up because of that, just because he took a really dope picture. And
Lurker's Paradise.
Bro, I've seen some. I'm like, how'd you take that? Like, you know, I don't even know how you got that. You know, how to.
It makes it sound like real photography.
No, I'm dead at, like, there's things that I've seen people do on that game. I don't know how they even got the photo necessarily, you know. So it's cute, man. It's a really fun game. I think it's much better than the original, and that's not the shit on an original, but I've kind of fell off the whole nostalgia stuff, like in my early 20s, where I had to stop letting go of stuff that like I thought mattered, but like I had to look forward to like whatever was happening. Soul Silver, Heart Gold really kind of like did that to me, honestly. As sometimes you just gotta let go because better stuff is
this game go. Sorry.
Yeah. It's the same with music too. Sometimes, like I feel the same way. Like, you know, you got to just like let some of that shit go so you can realize what's in front of you. And Pokemon Snap is literally the definition of that. So if you enjoyed the original when you were 10, 11, 9, however old you came up in that era, I guarantee you'll really enjoy new Pokemon Snap on the Switch, because it is brilliant. It looks great handheld on the go. It looks great on the TV. And you'll definitely have a good time with it.
Boom. Well, first of all, going back to kind of like, oh, are we going to do the voices thing again? Maybe they leave it exclusive for this game. You can kind of argue that the one thing that they've managed to bring across damn near every generation since the early ones is trying to take photos of your fucking Pokemon in this damn game. Like whether it's been the Rotom Dex, it's like, oh, take a picture of your Pokemon doing this shit. Oh, take a picture of your Pokemon. Even in the last game, they want you to just take pictures of your Pokemon at the campsite and all these other stuff like that. Like Pokemon Snap, even in, you know, Pokemon Go, for instance, like that one is like, yo, we push you, please.
They wanted us to remember. You know, I knew this was coming. I just think they were waiting for the right system, to be honest. They probably could have did this shit. Excuse me. They probably could have did this shit on like the Wii or something if they wanted to, you know. But I think they were waiting. I'm just saying, I think they were just waiting for the right moment, and the moment
3DS is like, well, is it in 3D, nigga? Like,
yeah. Well, you know, I never used that option on my 3DS, and
because
that was the first time video games ever hurt my eyes.
Making me feel like I gotta throw up.
It was rough, but it was a time, you know. Nintendo's tried a bunch of things. I think they hit with the Switch pretty hard, though.
But 3D wasn't even
failing at all the other gimmicks. Literally paid off because of how successful the Switch has been.
Right, yeah, because 3D things isn't even like new. 3D's like in the 80s, maybe. Like, if you throw in a 3D movie, it was like,
3D just has like a thing, like every like that. It's like because Avatar came out, and then like all these movies were coming out in 3D for a little while.
Yeah,
I saw my first movie in 3D in the 90s, and have not seen a movie in 3D since. To be honest with you,
let me tell you what, it fucking sucks even at now.
Yeah. I don't really go pay, and then you're gonna pay $30, so
yeah.
I think with the voice thing that you're talking about, though, I think like it could be like a setup for that Arceus game.
I agree.
It could be, you know what I mean? Because as someone who's like an avid fan of like the Persona series, I see them testing out stuff on their side games, or like, you know, games that are still developed by like maybe a small team, and they're like, okay, we tried this, like the game Catherine was designed and built to be the engine for Persona 5. And that came out way, way, way before it on a way different console. But they were like, okay, let's try to have the character models, the movement in the open world, as well as like the movement inside the nightmares, all that kind of stuff. And let's try to take that and then build a whole game on that. So the voice acting could be like the start of like, okay, we're making this Xenoblade / Breath of the Wild-esque game.
Yeah.
We need to have voices in it. So in order to do that, we got to try it on something smaller first, feed it to them. If the reception is good, then we'll go full steam ahead. Or it could be like you said, they could just be like, yo, shut up, here's the talking, and go about it.
Don't know. It's tough to tell with Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jeff, kind of like a final verdict on this game. What would you say this game is like for? I don't even want you to give it a rating. It's like, if you enjoy this, then you will enjoy this game. Like, what's the type of this? For what kind of people is this game for?
I mean, if you have a Switch, you will enjoy this game. That's one.
Damn, the whole swath, nigga.
Yeah, no, I mean, the game was clearly like I said, they were waiting for a moment. It was made for the Switch. It's perfect for the Switch. But I mean, if you're a Pokemon fan, you will enjoy this naturally. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be necessarily a grind, but it is somewhat of a grind to it. But at that point, you're getting into how do you feel about photography too? Because I'm sure there's people out there who love photography and will just love this game because of that, which is cool too. I know that's a niche.
I'm scared of the good photographers playing this game. They're like,
the
pictures
they're on there.
Too good.
They're on there,
that's
man.
Why I need to hop on there, man.
Hey,
listen,
look, there's a ranking system. There's a ranking system, and of course, the top 5 is like controlled by the Japanese, which is absolutely fine. But some of these pictures are just phenomenal, man. It's really fun. It's a cute ass game. If you have kids too, man, I mean, they'll probably fall in love with it.
Absolutely. That's been this episode, man. First of all, I want to thank Curbside Jones for popping up on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it was tight, man. I had to hop out my work meeting and hop into this, man. It was definitely
much better
palate cleanser.
Absolutely. Listen, plug your stuff. You got plenty to plug, to be honest with you.
All right, so check this out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can, if anybody wants to find anything Curbside Jones, I'm gonna just make it real simple because I know people are lazy. You can just go to www.curbsidejones.com. And you'll find my socials on there. You'll find my photography work on there. You'll find my music on there. You'll find it's all there. So just go to www.curbsidejones.com.
Easy, right there. And then we've also got to probably get you on the anime stuff and all in the manga stuff as well, because I know you read and you watch a lot and stuff like that.
I am in my post weeb life now.
Okay,
so
that happens.
Yeah, bruh. I'm into that. I'm telling you, like the last series I watched was that gambling one. And
Netflix will do that to you.
And I was kind of late. To that too.
It's very good.
I've been, so what's been replacing anime for me is this series called Terrace House.
You're watching Terrace House right now?
Terrace House? Oh, bro,
time out, bro.
I finished all of it.
I'm on In the City right now, like episode 14.
I'm telling you.
No cap.
I finished all of them. Me and my wife powered through all of them on Netflix. You know what I mean? So that replaced anime for me. So that's
you're gonna have to hit the VPN to switch over to Japanese Netflix to get the rest of the episodes.
Bro, it's on there, bro. They're on there.
The latest one hasn't came out yet.
Rest in peace, Hana. They took that season off, obviously.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know
it's a good series.
2021 to 2022. I don't know if they're gonna do that or not, but I mean, if y'all do want to talk about anime, I mean, I can talk about it. I've watched enough and experienced enough to where I could talk about something though.
Especially the classics and stuff like that. So definitely. Well, thank you for coming through. And of course, if you want to follow us, you can follow us at the Lookout RNC. And you'll be able to find all our socials there, especially when this episode comes out next month. Not sure what we're going to do. I'm kind of leaning in the direction of Pokemon Go, to be honest, because the 5-year anniversary of Pokemon Go to the polls is coming. It's coming up, and I kind of want to talk about how it shut down America for like maybe like the first month and a half.
It did. It did.
So, and maybe there's a part of me, a modicum of me, that will push Pat to download the game on his phone and at least try the game.
Wow.
I don't leave my house. Where am I going to catch him?
That's okay. That's okay. They taken that into account because of the pandemic. They've taken that into account. They come to you now on hot air balloons and all types of shit. To be honest,
it can be done. It can be done.
It can absolutely be done. But until then, you have to stay tuned to next month's episode of Mount Silver, and of course, you can listen to all the other podcasts we have on the Lookout Network. The Big Eyes podcast is coming back shortly, and you know. We got some other stuff down the pipeline. So thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll be back next time. Take care.